Dancing Daryl, the definition of a tempo hero, is in a pretty decent spot right now with this meta being more tempo heavy. If you don't know how to dance, I did do a full guide on him. It's really important to like know how to optimally play this hero and get the most stats out of it, so I'd recommend you check it out. Nothing fundamentally changed with buddies introduced. Essentially what I'm doing this game is staying down because I found tokens, and you want to dance on either a Puppet or a Trickster, one of the two. So you want to play Daryl in a mech lobby obviously because there's a lot of shields. If there's demons, then Trickster becomes an option, and tokens are important, which is the Murloc's Beast and Elemental. So those are tribes to look out for. You don't need everything, but you know, it's pretty nice to have as many as possible. Now, there's a great shop. I have to choose what to dance on since we already committed a little bit onto the Puppet. I'll just stick with that and play or keep this Trickster in hand. Now, you could full dance here and just sell everything, make a massive Puppet, but with your buddy, your playstyle changes a little bit, because with your buddy, you kind of want to hold your dance until you have it, since selling cards will buff your buddy. So I'm going to dance a bit on this Puppet. I think this is big enough. I want to keep both pairs on the board, I guess. And I'm also keeping the Trickster in hand because I would like to dance on a Trickster and triple it, so keeping a pair on Trickster and keeping a 2-2 around just feels kind of bad, so I'll just hold in hand so I don't run into board space issues. Now I should get my buddy here next turn, and then we probably go off and try and dance, because then we also do get the extra bonus stats onto our buddy. So keep that in mind. So you can dance once before your buddy, because it's really hard to just hold back for that long, especially if you need your buddy meter filled. You need to be strong. But you see me double buying here and not playing a card. Now, really important, I didn't play a card here because next turn I just want to play my buddy that I get on the board and start selling. Otherwise I have to sell a thing, play buddy, and I lose stats onto our buddy and onto stuff in the shop maybe. So that's the explanation of why I played down a unit. I did lose to Mukla, but Mukla is massive. Playing a card here like Hyena wouldn't have mattered anyway. So now it's time to pop off. We played a buddy. There's a Puppet in shop, which is obviously amazing. So we can just double buy. You don't have to stay on one either with Daryl. It's just something I like doing because you can find more tokens and you can find great cards. But you can definitely level to tier 2, tier 3 and only dance on those tiers if you find something good. But I want to give this a go since my shops were so decent. And yeah, you can see why I wanted to hold back with dancing. This buddy is a pretty decent tempo card. Now the main issue with Daryl is that late game you just have stats and you lose to poison, you lose to high rollers outscaling you, so you do want to find something else to do as well. I'm gonna roll here first, trying to find some tokens, which I did, a bunch of tokens. This is amazing, and then just level afterwards. And it doesn't matter if you're behind on leveling, like most people are tier 3 now, maybe even tier 4 because it's 8 gold, but you don't really care. We have a massive Puppet, or 2 massive Puppets, and a decent buddy that starts scaling up. I still have a pair. Don't get too baited by pairs, that's another thing. You don't want to keep bad tokens and stuff like that around. You rather just sell it for strength. I'm just keeping one decent pair on the board, because again, if you want to have an edge in this game and actually want to get first, you need something else to do. You need to find additional scaling, like a Bran, Lightfang, Major Domo, because just dancing usually isn't gonna provide you with enough stats. You can also fill the board out with poison. So dancing is enough for the early game. That's what I'm doing right now. You can do it you can do like 3, 4, or 5 dances, depends on the situation that you're in and your shops. Like, I don't want to force myself to dance here anymore, but we hit a triple and it perfectly aligns. It's turn 8, so it's still relatively early to triple. We can hit a 5-drop here, and that could be good enough to actually give us an edge to push for the first place. And sadly it's not. Nomi is way too late. Master Realities doesn't really synergize well, but the other sucks. I'll take Master. Maybe we hit a Major Domo and can start skilling it up. Maybe I find, you know, an Elemental to dance on, and every buff on it, then if we play it on the board, is gonna count toward Master. So there is a good element in the shop that we can dance on. Now dancing on tier 4 is a bit awkward because, as you will see, I have 2 cards in the shop now, so I have to sell 2, then buy a card. My best landed really well. I didn't waste too much onto the egg, but yeah, usually you will end up wasting some buffs onto a second card. That's why on Daryl you used to just stay on tier 3, dance on 3 drops the entire time. But yeah, I think leveling at any point is fine and not get too baited. I also don't eat my Trickster here. I rather sell both demons separately to get more buffs onto this Cyclone, and we even got some free rolls in if you would like. So now we have 3 big cards, actually 4, because we have our buddy that just passively scales as we dance, and we have a decent like setup. If I find an Argus, I can taunt up my shields, and then we could start scaling it with an arm, which I have in the shop right now. But yeah, it kind of sucks that our 5-drop that we triple into isn't great, also isn't the poison. So right now I'm just playing strong stuff. I'm playing Daryl like I used to play him, like not previous meta, because previous meta was really bad, but the meta before that, where you can just dance on stuff and be strong. But I want to remind you that you can play Daryl in multiple ways. I know know a lot of people have different play styles. This is what I do. I just like committing early, doing big dances and playing a little bit greedier, staying down, and then leveling, still dancing, but focusing on something else to do. Like right now, I don't really necessarily need to dance anymore. Very often I stop, but I have double bronze one in the shop, which, you know, it's fine to dance on this turn. I don't think you can set up for a 2-turn dance, which means you just freeze something, buy out an entire shop, and then next turn buy out an entire shop again and just double dance. But I don't want to play greedy. I'm on 17 HP, and I think I just want to have as much stamp on the board as possible. One slow turn, and I could die. So it's also a pair. I still have a pair on Pubbot, which I could triple. Usually tripling 2 big Divine Shields is bait. But since, you know, the stats combining onto one card might be better, and I'm filling the other spot with a poison in the end game is probably going to give me higher odds. You know, it's always an out, and I have a pair of Bronze Sword now as well. I can just slot in this egg, and life is looking okay. Like the monster is scaling up a little bit because I got bananas, and you know, sometimes I'll play a buff onto Cyclone, but yeah, it's just not been great. We do triple our buddy, and I think it's time to go into 6 shops. As you can see, we're even able to like outscale a Lich Baziel who's doing Weaver stuff, even has a poison on the board. It's really close, but yeah, just dancing actually got us there, and our buddy. But yeah, another playstyle with dancing Daryl is that you can dance like once or twice early, but I know a lot of people that don't commit as hard onto your hero power, and they play the game like rather normal, still play for pairs and try and triple and find stuff to do. And that is the kind of player that likes to high roll. They just like to really try and hit the nuts, and if you don't, you just die though. This I feel like is a little bit more consistent because you almost always get a top 4 just dancing. The stats is just good enough right now, and you keep your options open to maybe find a way to still counter your opponents. So just look who your final opponents are and try and figure out, should I level, should I not level, do I still need to dance? I don't greed too much in a late game. Don't do 2-turn dances, just, you know, do a mediocre dance, play a little bit of stats, but it's fine to just completely ignore your hero power. Now here is a macro in the shop, which is amazing. That could be a potential late game. Now our triple into 6 was horrible, didn't hit my Ixna, didn't hit anything, so I picked Zap. Maybe it was useful. Nope, it just dies into my Ixna, but hey, could have been worse, I suppose. So sadly, both our triples are bad, otherwise we would have had a way better shot this game. But it's still long from over. It's still a top 5. I'm still leading the lobby, and we're up against Savjz, which is not a very good sign because Savjz scales a lot with Daryl, stuff like that. And I'm gonna do a dance here. I was really considering if I should do a 2-turn dance onto this macro because I want to make it as big as possible, but I'm gonna stick to my rule, not be too greedy, just get strong here, be able to kill the Savjz, because if I all in and kill the Savjz, it's probably a top 3 and I gain some MMR out of this, and I can never say no to free MMR. So I'm making a decently sized macro, and now our end game is actually, you know, it might exist. If I can Divine Shield this macro, find a second macro and Divine Shield it or taunted, we could do ping pong, which is just like bouncing shields and scamming opponents. I can still find an arm now, like I did taunt 2 of my Divine Shield cards, so I can still scale up the attack of my existing cards. I can still find poison. I still have 2 pairs, and believe it or not, we were able to beat and outscale a Savjz with Targosas, Golden Razorgore, Golden Crab. So that is pretty surprising to see, and I think Daryl, yeah, I like that I get to dance again and actually murder people. Now we're up against the Ghost, the demon player that we were able to beat, I think, earlier, so we should be fine. I found an Argus to taunt my macro. Module obviously is even better. Zap did nothing against him, so I might as well just get a little bit stronger here. I don't, again, want like one single turn where I do nothing because I feel like I will fall behind. Even against Ghost, like if I just win here, I should be top 2 and I can try and counter my final opponent for a first place. So life is looking good. Look at our buddy. It's a 46-46, which isn't a lot. Compared to other buddies like Cirella's, compared to Liz Baziel's buddy, this is actually kind of underwhelming to see how small our guy is. And we did dance a lot. Like all the stats on our board are pretty much pure dancing. I didn't have any scaling or some buffs that I bought. And my hits against Ghost were terrible. Like I'm a lot stronger than this guy. I don't know what the odds were, but I lost the fight to Ghost. I am alive though, don't worry, but I feel like we shouldn't have taken damage at all. Doesn't matter, we're top 2 against N'Zoth, so a Death Rattle player. Now my mission is to just finish up this board. Maybe an arm, it's probably pretty late, but it's better than this Argus. Selfless, I'll just take tech cards. Let's find a spore, like some poison would be nice. There's a triple, which I will take. Normally, like I mentioned before, this is bait, but I think the stats on my Pibbots separately aren't enough anymore, so it is, I think, fine combining it. And still there's my X now on tier 6. Maybe a Mulligadon, although it's not getting a lot of adapt. zaps, or zap because well, it's in the Zoff. We missed on all of it, kind of sucks. I'll still take the Scavenger since I have like one more roll maybe, but it's not likely that we hit something better. So I'll just get the stats since it might be relevant still onto these Divine Shield cards and especially onto the mackerel. There's nothing more I could really do here, but yeah, this is how you play Daryl. Just play strong stuff, try and play for your top 3 and go all in every fight in the mid-late game. Try and outsmart and outtech your opponents while properly leveling. But this Zoff has double Golden Buster, Kangor Fit, like this is nuts. This is actually the first time I actually seen a Zoff with a really good board, because usually they just die. There must maybe a chance to beat this, but spoiler alert, I don't have the stats to beat this guy right now. If my mackerel didn't get sniped there, if we actually got Divine Shield value and got to ping pong a bit, maybe saw a second mackerel, we could have gotten there. Our zap was counted by max now anyway, so you know, even if I tripled into zap, it wouldn't have won me this fight. But yeah, thank you for watching. I just want to show this because I'm having fun with Daryl and I'm really happy he's playable again. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.